welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Ashley, and today we're going to be talking about building this platform table behind me. Now for my Halloween town and my Halloween village, I have two tables. One is already done, and I'm starting to work on this one. This is going to be done in like a 3-part video just because it was really long, and obviously I'm not done. So I've gotten about over halfway. All I need to do is just paint a couple of foam pieces and add some moss mat onto them. So it's going to be simple and quick and easy. I just need to do it, but I film all my stuff on my phone and I ran out of storage. So I'm trying to hurry up and get this done. So for this, the first video is going to be about like how I am using, package foam that I've gotten and kind of repurposing it into the town. That way I didn't have to go out and I didn't have to buy more XPS foam. I said before I wouldn't use it again, but here I am. I didn't want to go out and buy more foam, and I had literally just enough to be able to fill in the gaps with the XPS foam and to have everything turn out the way I wanted it to. All right, so of course I have my notes because I can't remember what I use right off the top of my head. So for the materials that I'm going to be using to make this second table is going to be package foam, the XPS foam, hot glue, craft glue, craft paint, and then just like a pocket knife and the hot foam cutters. So I have a knife and then I have like a little individual like smaller one. I'll be using both of those to cut into the foam to be able to cut them exactly how I need them to have the platform. So that's really all. It's fairly simple and easy. I don't know if y'all can see behind me, but I have like a stony wall that I made that's going to be in the second video. And that honestly took the most time because I really didn't know what I was getting myself into. But it actually turned out exactly how I wanted it. And I'm actually super proud of how it came out, considering that was the first time me trying to make a stony, just a platform. So I've never done it before, had no idea how it was going to turn out. I just had this vision and I'm glad that it came true for me. So again, this me putting this platform is going to be in 3 parts. The first video is just me designing it, showing you where I'm going to cut the foam to place it. And then the second one is building that stony wall that's going to go up to like a kind of a grassy dirt platform on top for me to put a ride up there. And then the third one is going to be just me finishing the rest of the platforms, which are just flat, basic, put some paint on there, put the moss mat on there, and it's going to be done. So one thing about building this platform is it's simple and it's easy. I literally almost had all of the materials I needed. I think I just needed to go to Michael's and get a couple of more like paint, just because I was afraid I was going to run out with what I had from last year's. And just because I was going to add a table this year didn't mean I needed, this huge platform that, one, was going to cost me a lot of money, but two, that I didn't have time to honestly build this year, which is why I used packaged foam rather than, building it from scratch from XPS foam. So I just kind of wanted to portray that in this video, that it's okay for you not to go all out, whether it's like your first year building or just any year that you might need to add more space. So my focus was just building a platform that was going to just add just enough detail to blend in with my previous table that I used. So I hope you like this video. If you want to see more things about my Halloween village, please like and subscribe. This is the second table that I'm going to be doing. So my town is here. It's going to come across over to this table. And this is kind of the setup that it's going to look platform wise. So I got these 2 white foam pieces from Packages, and I'm going to use that. I think I said before I wouldn't use this type of foam because, as you can see, that texture of the bubbly foam little ball pieces, it comes through, but we're on a budget this year. So I'm going to kind of cover this white piece with the same kind of moss mat. I have some left over, so I'm going to, hopefully it's enough to cover that whole entire piece. And then, so this is where I had like my food places last year. So I'm going to put this here. I have little, tiny little steps right there and right there. So I'm going to have that come down all the way here. I might place like a couple of people here, just kind of like walking by, which will be really nice. And then where you have these little divots and crevices, I'm going to put moss right here to kind of fill this in. And like on this side, there's some on the bottom. So all this will be like, I'm going to just paint this, have moss right there as well. And then I have over here the XPS foam. This is going to be cut into to kind of fill that area as a base. But what I'm going to do when it comes to this is I'm actually going to cut here, along here, set that box down inside, use what I cut to be put on top. So that way it's flat across and it's a good platform. I plan to put that piece on there. So when I put that piece on there, as you can see, it's really stony and it has kind of like a cave look. So I want to kind of do the same with the sides and have like a stony sides, but we'll see how that looks. So all I have to do with this is just paint this, kind of have it somewhat darker, similar paint to this, maybe add a couple of moss places here. And as you can see, all my staircases, I might build one to go up into that. But we'll see. But that's kind of how the platform is going to come out to be for the second table. In this first step, I'm really just going to place this piece down that I made last year and kind of mark where I want my steps to go to. That way I know before I paint, I know where to carve. And then after this, I'm going to go through with the other pieces and I'm going to do the same thing, is just draw a line where I want the foam pieces to be cut. In this next step, this is where I'm going to cut where I drew the lines at. I like to use this hot foam knife to cut bigger pieces. Just an FYI, if you ever use one, that the foam cutter burns through the foam, and because it's a knife and it's not a thin piece of wire going through the foam, it does cut fairly wide, which this is going to be okay for what I'm doing right now, and it makes it quicker than the little small other hot foam cutter that I have. That one just takes way too long. In this piece, I'm just cutting off the notches in the back because they're unnecessary, and I can push this further back to the wall that's on the table, and it's not going to overhang as much. Then after I get done cutting the notches off, it's a little uneven, and one thing about the hot knife is I can kind of just lightly press it onto the pieces that are still sticking out and actually just burn them to where it's going to even out. Okay, so for the second and the third piece, with my lines, because again, this knife burns fairly wide, and I'm gonna want to place the outer edge of the knife on the outside of my line. That way, when I'm cutting through and I'm burning through that foam piece, it will burn up to that line, and I'm not cutting on the line, because then it's going to become shorter than what I drew on there and what I measured out. So just be aware that when you're cutting with a larger foam cutter, whether it's with a knife or whatever tools are out there, that you're just aware that it burns and you don't want to burn over your line and mess up your measurements. And then after I'm done cutting the line, as you can see, I'm just going to kind of even it out and just place that foam cutter on there to where it burns a more even line. It's okay if it's not perfect, but you want to get it as close as you can, especially when you're freehanding it and you don't have one of the fancy tools, at least that's what I call them, but it's got the wooden base and it has the handle that goes up with the line of foam, and it helps you create very straight, sharp lines when you're cutting through your foam. I don't have one of those, so this is just how to do it freehandedly, the best that you can. My motto is, if it's not perfect, it just makes it more spookier. After cutting the foam pieces, I'm just going to show you what it looks like as the design of the foam pieces put together, placed in the correct way, and it will be ready for paint. The next video is me creating this stony wall that you see with that bigger piece in the corner. We're going to take that and make that into a stony wall with a grassy and dirt platform on top. So part 2 will be coming out shortly, where we're going to start on that. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel to be able to see part 2.